Good morning, everybody. My name is Karen Kong, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to my This or That Thursday. Every week I try to post 2 cards in my group, and I ask my crafting community to choose 1 card for me to make live on Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern, around there, and I make it live for you guys. So thanks for joining in. If you're watching live, say hi to me. Keep me company, and it's always nice to chat. Oh, hi Tara, are you able to join in this morning? I don't know if you have a meeting or anything, but it's nice to have you here. I'm just going to get my computer set up so I can see all the comments while I'm crafting, so just give me a second. If you're watching on the replay, I also love it if you say hi and leave me a comment and let me know if you enjoyed the card. It's always nice to have company live though, because I'm really terrible at talking to myself. Hi Sandra! Yay! We have 2 people with me. That's so nice. Okay, now the trick is to get the live feed up on my picture. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm all set up on the computer now. Okay, great. So this is the card that everybody chose for today. It's with the Hexagon punch and the Heartfelt Hexagon stamp set. And I used a few other things too. And let's get started. I'm just going to switch my, camera over to my desktop. So just close your eyes while I mount it. I don't know how other, I don't know what kind of other setups I could use to do this. Maybe somebody can let me know if you're a demonstrator and you do this, because I don't have a good way to switch from showing me to showing my desktop without having to remove it from 2 different, like the different mounts that I have. Anyways, okay, so here we are. We have I have laid out here just a few of the things, just so you know what you need if you're joining in and you want to stamp along. But I always post the measurements and the supplies in my video description afterwards, so you don't have to worry about writing things down. But I am using Phrases for All for the sending hugs and love, but you can use whatever you have. That's the whole point. Heartfelt Hexagon, just I'll show you what I use that for. While I'm crafting, I used the alphabet a la mode. That's the first time I've used it. Well, no, I actually cut it for somebody else. I used it the first time to cut some letters for Sandra, so it's finally getting some use this week. So I used that to cut the XO and the Hive 3D embossing folder, which I think is actually retired, and which is really a shame because it goes so well with this whole theme, right? It's the first thing I thought of when I saw this set. So let's make some room and we'll get started. I didn't want to spend too much time cutting because there's going to be a bunch of time spent cutting the hexagons at the end. So I thought I would use like some pre-cut stuff that I have. Let me just make room here. So for my card base, I'm using Crumb Cake. Yes, Sandra, I just got that set like literally last week, and you needed those letters, so yours were the first ones that I cut from that set, which is totally fine. It's totally great. Okay, so I have a half sheet of Crumb Cake. So it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, just cut in half on the long side. I haven't scored it yet. And I mounted this whole background on a separate sheet of Crumb Cake so that I could trim down the edges and make it all nice and neat. And I just like the layering. I know you can't really see the layering because it is the same color, but I just feel like it, I don't know, I like having that slight border around the edge from the card base. So I liked the way that turned out. So I have another sheet for that, but I do need to trim that down. So let's do that first. So it's a very slight edge, so it's only a 1/16 of an inch. So I just need to cut my card base mat down to, oh, let me move this out of the way. So this is This is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheet, so I'm just going to trim it down by 1/8 of an inch, so I have a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. So this will be cut to 4 1/8, so just trimming off a slight bit on the sides, and then 5 3/8. So I don't actually have the Be Mine suite. I just really like the paper, and I was seeing a lot of cards made with Fluffiest Friends and the Be Mine suite. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it with just the paper. I didn't feel like I wanted the whole suite, so I just got the paper. And I thought I was going to stamp out some Fluffiest Friends to go with it. But no, I just used the bees. It just worked out because I really, it came to me that I wanted to use the Hive 3D embossing folder with the hexagons, because it's all, I mean, like, bees make hexagons, so it just worked out so well. And so I needed bees. I didn't need to use the bear. I didn't use like the cat or anything, so I stuck with bees for the card. Okay, so now that this is trimmed, oh, I forgot to score my card base. Not critical. That's it. That's actually the very end that we have to adhere everything. So, but I'll just do it now while I remember. So I'm just scoring along the halfway point, 4 1/4, and we'll put that aside. Okay, let's see. What should I show you first? So I did fussy cut all these bees. Okay, I have already fussy cut 2 of them. I have 1 more left to cut. I think I'll show you how to create these hexagons. So really easy. So I punched out the backs, okay? And to create these hexagon pieces, I used the frame from the Heartfelt Hexagon set, okay? I stamped it in Daffodil, which is the same color as the cardstock. Let me just get a piece of paper. So I'm just going to stamp it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the inside edge. Okay, I'm going to cut along the inside edge, and that will give me a slightly smaller hexagon that fits inside the larger hexagon. I'm just cleaning off my stamp. Oh, maybe I'll just demonstrate this quickly, but if you haven't worked much with the photopolymer stamps, they are very stretchy, so that allows you to actually like change the shapes if you really want to. But if you want the actual original shape, and it's all, you know, you're finding it hard to lay it down properly and it's stretching or twisting or whatever, the best way to put it on your block is to lay it stamp side down on your surface and just let it rest in its natural shape, and then pick it up with your block. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do it. I just wanted to show you that if you haven't worked with photopolymer too much. Okay, so there I have stamped it. You know what? I'm going to punch it out just so that it's easier to work with. I don't have to hold the whole sheet of paper. It's just easier when it's a smaller sheet. So I'm just going to punch this out. I'm going to take my scissors. Oops. And I'm going to cut along this inside edge. So really easy, because I mean, like, it's mostly straight edges, right? And I have to tell you that I learned this trick from Jamie Birksey. I saw one of her videos where she did this trick, and I thought that was just genius. Because now I can create a border for my hexagons. Okay. All right. So now that I've got my piece, my slightly smaller piece, I'm going to take the Hive 3D embossing folder and I'm going to emboss it. Okay, I need to bring over my full-size cut and emboss machine because it is a 3D embossing folder, and I think that only fits into the larger machines. So here we go. And let me just put it in. And I'm going to take the stamped side and put it face down so I don't see any of the edges there. I'm just lining it up. Ha! Yes, I know, Sandra. Fussy cutting was never my favorite. But you know what? It's kind of grown on me. I wouldn't say it's my favorite still, but it is relaxing. And if it's not too hard, it's not too terrible. But it sure doesn't beat die cutting. All right, here we go. So here you go. There you go. There's the honeycomb that I'm looking for. All right, let's put this away. Oh, let me just move this. All right, and then I need one more piece of hexagon. I actually need a full-size hexagon as its border. So let's, oops, I forgot. I always hold the punch upside down so I can see where I'm punching. I forgot what I was doing there for a second. Trying to line this up to optimize my use of the paper, but I don't think I can get it in. Actually, I don't think I can fit this. Nope. Just a hair too short. Okay, it's got to be this way. All right. Let's put that aside. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adhere these down. So you can choose either side if you want, you know, for whichever project you're doing, you can choose which side you want to use when you emboss. You can use either side, but I liked the debossed side for this. Okay, so I'm going to use glue. Yeah, I know this hexagon set goes so well with the bees. I mean, like, I don't have the bee set, but it just goes so well. And it's one of the first things I thought of when I thought of combining it with the Hive 3D embossing folder, and I think that is sadly retired because it goes perfectly. I don't know if anybody else got it. I think it was on clearance. I think I got it on clearance or something the last time it was available. So it's really easy to create like a little border for your honeycomb with this hexagon punch. And it's a fairly neutral shape. That's why I think it's pretty versatile for using for both masculine and feminine cards, because it's not too frilly, right? Because like a lot of the ornate frames, I just don't see myself using for a guy's card. Whereas this shape is neutral, and I think, you know, it wouldn't be too fancy for a guy's card. All right, so there's my 3 hexagon shapes. That was really easy. What am I going to do next? Let's fussy cut. Since I've got my scissors out, I'm going to fussy cut this last bee. So some tips for fussy cutting. So somebody, like I've watched a lot of videos about other people fussy cutting, and somebody mentioned that they cut on a 45-degree angle. I tried doing that, and that's to prevent the edges from kind of curling up as you cut, if you ever noticed that. And it kind of works, but I don't know if I consistently do that. But Now, the other thing I've been doing is that I use the paper and I move it around rather than trying to just move my scissors around the image. So I will turn the paper as I go to help me do the fussy cutting rather than just trying to wiggle the scissors around. So those are a couple of tips, and then maybe that'll help you with your fussy cutting. I will say that, you know, with practice and time and the more fussy cutting I do, it's actually not too bad. Like it's not terrible. It's the only thing is that you can't do this in front of the TV because you can't watch TV. Well, I don't know. I can't watch TV while I fussy cut. I think I didn't even get started. I brought it to the TV the other day and I couldn't even start because I couldn't watch and cut, so it just didn't get done. This is something I have to do while I'm not watching something else. Sandra, I just saw your message about going back to the taco set and doing more fussy cutting there. It's true. Now that I'm like pro, haha, I'm kidding, about like fussy cutting, maybe I will go back to the taco set more often. But it would look so much better if it was die cut, really. There. All right, there's my third bee. Okay, I'm just going back and reading the comments. Yes, audiobooks would work. I don't usually get a lot of those. Actually, my daughter listens to lots of audiobooks, so I really should like try that. Because there's lots of things like cooking where I can't be watching TV or something, but you know, I'm really mentally kind of bored while I'm cooking. The only thing is when I'm cooking is I have to keep track of what I'm doing because the other day I was making a dressing for my salad and I was going to have it. So I started off with half the ingredients and then I lost track and I started putting in the full ingredients for the other part of the recipe and I realized partway through what I was doing. So I had to add back all the other half that I had left out. And I ended up with the full serving, which I didn't need, but anyways, yeah, multitasking is becoming more challenging as I get older. Okay, back to our task. Okay, what can I do next? All right, so let's see. I'm going to cut out all the hexagons for this, okay? So I wanted to have kind of a field of flowers in the background, but I didn't, I felt like it was going to be a little bit overwhelming if I just put a full mat of flowers. So that's why I cut them out in the hexagons. So let's do that next. So as you can see, I already cut out the initial, the hexagons for the initial card that I made. Let's just see now. Oh, you know what? I need to lay out my my hexagons first because that's how I figure out, you know, how big of a piece I need for all of these, okay? So this is my mat. And I'm just gonna line these up. So I left a little bit of space, but very close to the edge here. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, like it's up to you where you want to line it up, but I wanted my pieces along the left side, more to the left side of the card. That's what I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to glue those down so that they don't move and I can start adding my hexagon pieces to this mat. I heard we're getting a whole bunch of snow tonight, which is kind of nice. I always said I don't like winter, but this winter has been so mild, I actually kind of miss the snow. Like, it's weird not having a full-on winter, and it's really weird not getting to lots of snow and cold. Well, I don't miss the cold weather, but yeah, it's just weird. So I am going to be glad to see a little bit of snow. Okay. So I'm just leaving like a 1/16 of an inch between the hexagons. So it's Family Day weekend coming up here in Ontario. And does anybody have any like fun plans? I'm pretty sure Sandra has told me she's got a whole weekend, a packed weekend, because it's her daughter's birthday, 16th birthday this weekend. So lots of fun planned for her daughter, which means she's got lots to do. Okay. All right. Yes, I see your comment, Sandra. You do have plans, that's for sure. Okay, so I need to cut a piece here. So this is Sweet Sorbet. So if you ever wonder how you pick colors for a card, I always stick to the well, not always, but 99% of the time I stick to what's in the DSP. So in the DSP, there is Sweet Sorbet and Daffodil Delight, which is why I chose... Is it Daffodil Delight? I'm pretty sure it's Daffodil Delight. But yes, I use the DSP to guide me on what color choices I make. Oh, Tara says that you don't get, she doesn't get a long weekend. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, federal government workers don't get the Family Day weekend. But you get other days that we don't get. Like, I think you guys get Remembrance Day, which public people in the private sector don't get. Okay, so this is Sweet Sorbet, and I'm just going to add it on the bottom right here, and then we'll trim it off afterwards. Okay, so I don't need glue on the whole back, so I'm just kind of guesstimating where I'm going to need to stop, but I'm going to put my what I'm going to do is put my silicone mat down in case I go beyond the edge by accident, so it doesn't stick to my desktop. Okay, so I have maybe 1/4 of an inch. All right, let's do this. Okay. Oh, okay, so it's not a long weekend for everybody. Well, see, I have, not only is it a long weekend for us, it's also like the kids get a PA day tomorrow, so it's extra long. It's 4 days long. So it's kind of nice that today my husband went to work and I have the house all to myself, kind of like a calm before the storm type of deal, right? When everybody's home. It'll be nice to have like some peace and quiet for a few hours. Oops, I did go. Oh, I'm just on the edge, aren't I? I wonder if I can just push this up just a little bit more. All right. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm just going to take a piece of scrap paper and I'm just going to brush off that excess glue. There we go. And I'll need to let that dry before I cut it. There we go. Okay, so that's for the bottom. So now let's start cutting all the DSP. Yeah, we don't have a lot of big plans for this weekend. I know that, okay. So I'm going to cut this piece at the top for there, because I know I can't get a full hexagon, but I know I only need about half there, so I'm pretty sure I can get a half there. I'm making sure that I have the right orientation too, because I want my flowers to all go up. There we go. So there's one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim off all this extra that I can't use anymore. Yeah, so we don't have a huge amount of plans. My daughter still has dance practice as normal, and my son still has shifts at work. So we'll work around that, but I'm hoping that we can do a couple of fun things. Maybe go to see a movie, play some games at night with my daughter. Okay, so I'm just kind of taking a look at what spaces I have left. So I don't need a full hexagon for any of it. So I'll probably cut out one hexagon and then use it for the other side too. That way I can maximize the use of my paper. So let me just get this in here, and I'll cut out one hexagon here, and we will probably use it here, and then I'll use the other side for there. So I'll cut out one more for this side, and we'll do the same thing. Just, there we go. All right. Okay, so let's put glue on. Where'd my glue go? It's over here. Okay. So I have a better idea of how much glue I'm going to need there. So I'm actually going to do it the reverse this time. I'm going to put glue on my mat. And then I'll stick this on top. Actually, I'm going to put a tiny bit more here. And we'll do it this way. Okay, same thing here. I'm just going to make sure that this covers, how much does this cover? All right, so I'm just making sure that I don't go out of my space, and I don't end up with glue outside of my DSP. And I'm kind of keeping an eye on where it lines up with the other hexagons, because I remember that I have a 1/16 of an inch on the top there. Whoops. And this is why I'm using glue, because then I can push it around if needed to adjust the spacing. Okay, so this one is around here. Go. Oh, it'll be very quiet when you're busy running around, Sandra. Who am I going to talk about bags and purses with? I have a new obsession. I need to replace or add to my bag collection. Anybody else out there have a purse collection that that they've been working on? And do you use all your bags? I mainly use just one bag. I'm really lazy about transferring all my stuff from purse to purse, so I pretty much just use the one purse all the time. But I do have other purses in my closet that I really like, and I have them there if I really need to change them over for a different color or style. But I do need something different and new, because I've been carrying around some stuff with the purpose being primarily when, you know, the kids were young and I needed that bag to carry like everything, like wipes, sanitizer, snacks, tissue, you know, all that stuff. But now I don't have to carry so much stuff, so, oops, I'm going to turn it this way so you can see. So I'm going to line it up this way. Actually, that's not as comfortable. I'm going to push this up a bit more, and hopefully you can see the bottom. And I'm going to line this up at the bottom along my straight edge. And I'm lining up the edge of this mat. I can see the sides with the middle of the groove here for the blade. Okay, and that way I can get a nice clean straight cut. You can use your scissors too. You don't have to do this using your trimmer, but I just find it's nice and clean this way, and it's actually faster than trying to do it by hand. Okay, so that's that side, and the reason I cut them off was because I want to see if I can use it for this side. So yes, I'm going to use that piece here. Let me glue that on before I lose it. Okay, don't need a lot of glue. I don't like to use too much glue because if I use too much, I find sometimes it makes the paper wrinkle, like especially the DSP because it's thinner than the cardstock. So I try not to use too much glue. All right, so this one I can put here. All right, so I'm gonna put my glue edge right here. Okay. Oh, I think I need a tiny bit more down here. Make sure it doesn't come off the corner. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna have to cut at least one more hexagon. All right. So I'm just gonna cut, I just need a top of a hexagon right there. So I'm just gonna cut right from the bottom, and I use the top of my hexagon here. Oops, okay. So this side piece is preventing me from getting in too far. How am I gonna do this? Let's cut off this one section here so I can get that punch in here. Okay, so now I don't even need half of a hexagon, so I'm good right here. See, that works out like that. And then I need a little corner right there. So I'm I'm just going to take it and I'm gonna punch out like corner like that. It's like putting together a puzzle almost. Okay, so let me put a little bit of glue. You know what, if you cut an entire mat the same size as your crumb cake mat, and then you could just punch apart from the sides, but then you have like these pieces left over. So I don't know, this way works fine for me too. Okay. There, whoops, tiny bit of glue got out there. All right, I just have the corner over here, which is the last piece to go. All right, so I need the bottom corner, which is a bit tricky because I'm like, I think, okay, let's cut off this top section here. Maybe I'll be able to cut it out of the top piece. because I don't want to, I can't just take like another section because it is directional DSP, and you can tell, like I can't, you know what, I actually cheated. I think I took a part of a DSP for the last card that you couldn't really tell. No, I don't know. I thought it was upside down, but it's not. Okay, so let's just cut part of the bottom of a hexagon here, and then we'll be able to cut that out. There we go. Okay, so that's the only part I need. Just going to move that over a little bit. I'm just looking at where these corners line up, and I think mine is over just a little bit. Yeah, that's why I need to lower it. There we go. There we go. So now I just need to trim off all this excess. I'm just going to turn it over, and we'll just use scissors this time. Okay. Okay. And for the rest, I'm going to use my trimmer. It's actually faster than doing it by hand. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up the edge of my mat with the middle of the groove there. And this last one I'll just quickly do. There we go. Great. So there's our background. All right, let's move the DSP out of the way. I need the XO for here. So I'm going to need my cut and emboss machine for that. Let's bring that back over. I'm going to move my tools out of the way. And I need a piece of black cardstock. There we go. I also need my alphabet a la mode dies. So I mounted them on 2 sheets of magnetic paper. So I need my X, and you know what? I think the O and the 0 are pretty much the same, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out. Okay, so now that we have our X's and O's, I'm going to stick it on my card. And I could have done it with adhesive backing, but since it's just 2 letters, what I'm going to do is just put tiny dots of glue on my letters, and then we'll use my tweezers to stick it on. That's why I love this applicator, is that it has like the tiny openings so that I can make tiny glue dots. Okay. I'm just going to put the O down so I know approximately how much room I'm working with for the X. Okay. Okay. And I'll do the same, put little glue dots. When I first saw the alphabet a la mode dies, I wasn't sure I would use this size of letter. They were tall and skinny, but then, you know, as you like see more and more projects being made with them, I thought, you know what, maybe they will be really useful, and they came in useful like right away. Because I wouldn't have done this with the playful alphabet dies. They're too short. And too fat for this project, I think. They don't work for this, so they came in very handy. It's the alphabet a la mode. All right, so there's our card mat. Okay, so before I go any further, because I mounted these on dimensionals, I'm going to put this on the card base so that I don't have trouble mounting it. Where's my card folder? Because I need to press it down, right? So I don't want to have to press down on top of the dimensional pieces. Okay. Whoops. Go. And this is just 1/16 of an inch, so I always line it up on one side and then check that the top and bottom look good before I start to lay it down, and that way I get centered. All right, so I have my bees to put down and also a little bit of stamping left to do. I'm going to use mini dimensionals for these ones. Let me just see, did I use, some of these bees have little slightly different faces, so I just want to use the same order because I want this guy looking at his friends. Okay. Just peeling off all the backings. This little guy is going to go here. I was debating where to put my sentiment, sending hugs and love. I played with it down in this section. I really wanted to put it there, but it just didn't look right. So I ended up putting it there. So I'm going to leave just a little bit of extra space underneath him so I can put my sentiment in. I had a bit more time this past week than the first part of this 2024. It was just crazy at the beginning part of the year because it's my husband's birthday, my son's birthday, my twin niece's birthday, so I was making special cards for all four of them, plus I had a couple classes in customer appreciation, so I'm feeling like I have a little bit more breathing room lately. Okay, there we go. All right, one last thing to stamp. And so this is the sentiment from Phrases for All. It's only part of the sentiment, actually. So the original sentiment says, sending hugs and love when words aren't enough. But I just wanted this part. So what I'm going to do, oops, I haven't taken off all the stamps from the original packaging, is I'm just going to stamp the bottom part. So I'm going to put the stamp side down, and I'm just going to pick it up with my block. Okay, and I just need a scrap of white, and I'm going to use the very edge of it. And I like lining it up on my grid papers, so it helps me line everything up nice and straight. Oh, you know what? I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to put a piece of scrap underneath, because I use this piece of grid paper all the time for my lives. So I'm going to try and not cover it too much with stamping. So I'm going to use my grid paper still to line things up. Okay, let's ink this up. So I just need the top of this sentiment. So I'm just going to stamp it right along the edge, because I know that I'm going to trim it down. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to get my paper trimmer to do this. I know some people freehand this, but I still like using my paper trimmer. So, again, I'm just going to use the middle of my groove. I can also gauge by the inside of the ruler here. So I can see that I'm going to probably cut off the edge of the top of my words. I'm going to move it down just a little bit more. And that's all I need. And we'll just trim it. Oops. And I didn't mount this on any dimensionals. I just put some glue on, and I stuck it straight on. So that's the way it's going to go. I'm just leaving a little bit of room for me to hold the sentiment at the edge with my tweezers. There we go. And just going to line it up around here. And that is the card. I didn't put any other embellishments on. I did not figure out a spot that I could put like a little bit of twine, and I feel like there's enough on the card to look at without extra embellishments, so I just left it as is. So that is our card today. Hope you'll give it a shot with whatever you've got and try it out. So have a great day, ladies, and have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye.